Speaking of appealing to everybody, right? To being, I think, a national treasure and an international icon. Someone I am so thrilled to have here that we feel so lucky that we can't fucking believe she's here in the first place. And since she is, let's give her a huge warm round of applause for Melanie. Several pints of Guinness sent back for you tonight. What's that all about?
They're like a lesbian drinking pints of Guinness. I just look like a lesbian.
I know. Well, since you brought it up, you did say at one point, there were rumors, blah, blah, blah. There are about everybody, but then you did say...
There are no rumors about you, Scott. No one thinks you're a lesbian.
But you did say at one point, what? Because I'm muscular in shape, have a butch haircut, and I work out, I'm a lesbian? Well, yeah, kind of. But I mean, who gives it? Does anybody really mind?
Yeah, this is what I used to get to. No fucking business, apart from the people you want to lay, right?
Right. The thing about what you do, though, is your performance style, and it just appeals to everyone. So are you worried about if you were, not that you are, but if the rumors are true and you were gay, do you think that would close off a certain amount of your audience? Or would people? No.
I wouldn't care. I wouldn't give a shit.
Yeah.
But I think, thankfully, I think we now live in a world where that really doesn't matter in most places.
Yeah.
And I think that's changed quite dramatically since I've been alive, really, for the last 30 years.
Right. Yes. But you court controversy though by being sporty and by being your own woman. What I mean is you produce your own albums now. You have your own production company. Were you always an ambitious person, or did your ambition grow with your fame? Did you start out, because you studied formally in school, dance and singing and music, right?
I did.
And your family must have been terrified, right?
Yeah, my dad was.
Yeah, because he thought, what's she going to do with it?
Yeah.
And
Get a proper job.
How does he feel now about what you do?
He's quite pleased.
Right. But were you always thinking, someday I'm going to own my own production company, I'm going to be world-renowned, or did your ambition about your own life grow as you became more of a household name?
I think it grew with knowledge and change because I've always been incredibly ambitious. I've always wanted to work in music. I've always wanted to be a pop star. But then, I learned a lot about the business, and the business changed when I was in it. And then really, people around me educated me about different ways of doing things. And then that's how the record label was born.
But the Spice Girls, originally called Touch. Is that right?
Yes.
What happened to...
that was such a shit name.
What happened to your original fifth member, Leanne? Was that her name?
Michelle.
These guys are well known. There was actually... the original audition was for a girl band.
Right.
And the original lineup didn't include me or Emma.
Right.
And there was a Welsh girl in my place. I don't know her name. I never met her. And anyway, I came into the...
You got her name was Leanne Morgan.
Okay, there you go, Leanne Morgan.
She's here tonight. She liked that microphone and that blouse. So she, I assume you killed her. Now what happened to her? Where is she? You don't know. You don't know her name. You probably know where she is.
Well, I think she's still a singer.
Right.
But, this cruel, horrible world that we live in, some guys were auditioning young girls to be in a band, and they had this lineup. And one of the girls looked too old. So she got left, and then I was...
And was it Jerry? Oh, I adore her. Whatever. Like, she did the shit what I think. I bought every song she's ever recorded, and you too. But I mean, she's great, but she's a bit mumsy-ish compared to the rest of you, isn't she? And I don't mean that in a negative way. I'm not the first fucking person who said it, so fuck off. But what I'm saying is that each of you filled a certain category in the band, didn't you? Right? And so maybe some of you were meant to appeal to a much younger crowd and some to a slightly more mature audience. Which is the brilliance of the band, right?
Yeah.
Because it did appeal to a wide range of people.
I mean, that was what people always say, why were the Spice Girls so successful? And, there are lots of different reasons. A lot of it is
The
fate.
first album shot to number one.
Yeah, it was fate and timing and all those things. But I think we were so unique because we were different and we embraced that and the individuality. And, you know, bands aren't really doing that, you know, pop bands, girl bands, boy bands, they're not really doing that at the moment. They've kind of gone backwards and they're all looking the same and it's all about uber glam now and you know, it's very sexual and, you know, we used to be accused of being, you know, too sexual for young kids. I mean, now, these pops are like humping the floor.
Yeah.
It's insane.
And I have no problem with that either if that's what people want to watch. But it's true. I mean, when you first started, the previous girl band would have been, what, Bananarama? And that would have been 20 years before when you started, right?
Yeah, well, there was Bananarama and around the same time, just before we came out with Eternal.
Who? Yeah, anyway, so, right. Okay, right.
Yeah, so that was kind of it, really.
Right.
Shampoo.
Right. No, you could. Right. No, you could use a little bit. But that's all I was thinking. The thing is, your band had 3 huge albums, the Spice Girls, and then, right? What the hell? I mean, your film was huge. And then you had broken through to America effortlessly because so many bands have tried that and have not been successful.
Yeah.
You guys did without even, like, yeah, okay, we're huge in America too. And then you just, why?
Yeah, it was really, really surreal because we were all really ambitious and we were all very focused and we shared the same vision. And we just, you know, we
all
went for
very
it.
distinct, too, in your own ambition and the way you were approaching your careers. I mean, Emma, Baby Spice was very, very different from Posh, right? And we all felt like we knew you in a weird way, even though we didn't even... Like, at first we didn't even know your first names. It was very strange. Beautifully produced and presented. The way
it was, you know, it's weird as well because I'm sure there were lots of people who'd like to take credit for the Spice Girls' success. And, you know, a lot of people deserve credit for helping it become successful. But really, you know, it was just meant to be, you know, us girls fumbled our way, that sounds rude, to being together as a 5-piece. We had this great chemistry and this energy and, you know, and we... You know, I believe we were wonderful. We had great songs. You know, we collaborated with great people. You know, we had great management, great record label at the time. And
but then why only 3 records? Why did you break it so early?
Because something like that, it's so intense, and you're under an extreme amount of pressure. Your lives change. You're under scrutiny constantly.
Posh is mean.
You know,
or is that possible?
Posh isn't mean.
She presents herself in such a shut-down way.
You are so wrong. You know, within the structure of the band, Victoria is not me.
But how come she appears so, not when you're performing with her, then she's lovely when she's on stage with you 4, but when she's on her own...
It's protection.
Really?
Yeah.
Why does she
Don't you think?
What's she protecting herself?
Oh, you know, she feels more comfortable presenting herself like that. I think maybe she'd feel more vulnerable if she was, you know, if she was smiling and...
Yeah, I guess, but,
you know,
but people already know her.
We
were talking backstage, so the press has been comparatively, compared to the people, other guests like Barrymore we had, whom you know and you work with, cinematically. The press has
I love that, cinematically.
No, I want you to do that.
Yeah, I am my box office hit movie career. My very short-lived movie career.
Well, you know, less is more in some ways, but when where that's concerned, I mean, she's already adored. The press already adores all of you, so you'd expect her to let it down, although maybe, again, that's her distinct way of presenting herself, whereas yours is completely opposite, isn't it? You're completely...
Yeah, I think so. It's funny because, you know, I've always gotten really well with Victoria. But yeah, you're right, we do present ourselves in probably extreme opposites.
And is that part of the reason why you needed to sort of separate, because you were all going in such different directions?
We were just all fucked, basically. Not literally, unfortunately, for some of us.
Although she is by...
Yeah, well, hey, you know.
That's you, she
some girls have all of us, right?
Yeah.
But no, you know, we were exhausted, we were just, you know, we all dealt with it in different ways.